Hey folks, well, they dropped the hammer again. Yesterday, the PCAOB announced a disciplinary order against a firm called Withum and fined them $2 million for pervasive quality control violations, particularly involving their SPAC audits. So I wanted to take a moment and dive into this and really just start to ask ourselves the questions, why does this stuff continue to happen? So let's take a look. So who's Witham? You might be asking. Well, Witham is headquartered in New Jersey, and they've got about 26 offices across the United States and worldwide. They've got more than 1,200 employees and actually almost $550 million in revenue, which actually puts them at number 22 on the Inside Public Accounting Report based on net revenue. They are registered with the PCAOB, so let's take a look at how they got to where they are with respect to this PCAOB disciplinary order. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at the actual disciplinary order yet, I'm going to try to summarize it as best I can for you. But it comes down to the fact that Witham took on an excessive number of new issuer audit clients between the period of January 2020 through April 2022. Now, there's a number of issues the PCAOB faulted them for. A lot of those, though, are ripple effects, most likely caused by the fact that they took on too many clients and didn't necessarily have the resources or the capabilities to actually support them. So let's dive a little bit deeper. Pretty staggering figures, all of this coming directly from the disciplinary report from the PCAOB. But in 2021, there was almost a 500% spike in the number of issuer audit reports that Witham issued in comparison to 2020. So you can see the data here, 76 in 2020, that jumps up to 445 in 2021, with hundreds of these all being the special purpose acquisition company audits that are usually extremely challenging to get through. So here's the real kicker, and this is straight out of the disciplinary report. Yes, they took on a number of new issuer audit engagements, again, primarily those SPAC audits. But if you look at the actual partners overseeing these audits, they went from 15 in 2020 to just 23 in 2021. So you're spreading around hundreds of new issuer audits across a very limited partner pool. In fact, 5 of those engagement partners, okay, were responsible for 62% of all the issuer audits. And those 5 engagement partners typically had more than 40 issuer audits during the 2021 cycle. So that obviously causes a huge workload strain, and these partners and their data show that. Utilization, which is just billable hours, averaged 141% in January 2022, and it jumped all the way to 178% in March of 2021, just for those 5 engagement partners. One of them actually, in the course of 2 weeks in March 2021, averaged approximately 100 hours per week. Now that is clearly a recipe for disaster. So what are my thoughts about this? Well, I think this is all a factor of commodity pricing and trying to chase the almighty dollar. There is never a partner that wants to be at the helm and says, folks, we've had partner income per share drop this year. So there's this overarching goal to maintain partner income per share or show it increasing year over year. And because of that, when you bring on all these new issuer audits, you're going to have to leverage a number of inexperienced personnel, and you're going to have to overwork them in order to just get it done. And that's exactly what's happening here at Witham in this particular example. So now what's in it for you? Well, let me tell you, I do feel like it's my personal responsibility to bring awareness to what's happening in our audit profession. 75% of CPAs hit retirement age in 2020, and 300,000 accountants and auditors have left their jobs since 2019. There's a reason for that, and it likely has to do primarily with a culture that demands people work way too much. And this is clearly what's happening in the Witham case. So if you're out there thinking about as an employee of Witham, or maybe an employee of another public accounting firm, or even a client of Witham, or a client of other CPA firms, or if you're looking for your very first audit or review, You need to be asking some good questions of your CPA firm. First, how do they prioritize the health and well-being of the audit team members, especially during busy season? Second, what do they do to mitigate fatigue and ensure quality in audits? Nobody would get on a plane if you knew your pilot hadn't slept, but that's exactly what's happening here when it comes to these audits. How transparent is the firm in reporting things like audit quality metrics, partner workload, manager and staff workload? All of that really will drive a better and high-performing quality audit. How do they monitor safe zones of operation? What happens if they're outside of those zones? Do they do anything? Do they react to it? In Withum's case, they had a tremendous amount of new issuer audits, but the partners barely increased. So you have to just ask yourself, does the math add up? Lastly, probably the most important question, we've got to change the culture of public accounting firms, and it starts with employees and clients asking the right questions to CPA firms and their leaders. If you don't ask the questions, you're never going to know the answers, and you need to know what's actually happening. This is the truth about public accounting, and this is where we're going wrong.